silence and raise the blind. It's all, it's time to shine. Mystery solved, it's time to shine. Squatch-D brings it live. Steve and Chris, they're gonna fly. No stone unturned, the facts alive. Bigfoot story now defined. Footsteps here and shadows there. In the woods they do prepare. Concerts are like rain. Bigfoot secrets show today. Sunday night of lights to shine. Sunday night of sunshine. It's one Jesus time to shine. Sunday night of lights to shine. Sunday night of lights to shine. Water is always time to shine. Water is always time to shine.
Welcome to Squatchdtv, where the truth is first before all else. Join your hosts, veteran investigator, TV personality, and author Steve Kulls, and from the Kentucky Bigfoot Research Project and the Kentucky Fried Fixes channel, Chris Bennett. Sit back and prepare to take yourself on a journey with the longest-running Bigfoot podcast, Squatchdtv. Here are your hosts, Steve and Chris.
And good evening, cyberspace. Welcome to Squatchdtv for today's date, October 16th, 2024. I'm your host, your guide, the Squatch Detective Steve Kulls, along with my co-host down there, Mr. Chris Bennett. What's up, Chris?
Hey, Steve, man, it's good to see you. We got some cold weather in Kentucky, dude. I had to turn on the heat last night. We went from, well, we got about a week's worth where we didn't have to run the air conditioner, which I love that. But last night we had, the low was supposed to be reported as 33 degrees. And when I had to go out the first thing this morning, man, it felt like it was colder than that. But
We
on
were
winter
in the
jacket,
same boat here.
getting cold weather in New York. Oh, yeah, well.
Supposed to
we get
dip
that
down
here
to
in-
32 tonight,
Oh, yeah.
but that's okay.
There goes the garden. That's it.
Well, at least the grass ain't growing,
Yeah, that's true. That's great.
so that'll take care of that problem real quick. And
Worry about that next spring. Yeah.
I just want to shout out to Roger Garrett. Thank you,
Roger.
sir. We certainly will. A new name in the chat. We'll figure he threw a shout out to us. We'll throw a shout out back to him. We got a lot to do tonight. I tell you what, we got some stuff to unpack tonight. So,
And it's Steve Kulls, not Kolinsky.
that's right. Squatchopedia called me Steve Kolinsky.
Or it's Squatchables. Great article. They did it.
Sorry, my ancestors came a little bit more to the west, just a little bit.
Henry May covered that on his channel, HBM's Crypto Corner, and the Squatchables did an article on our Bigfoot Natural Disasters episode, which I really appreciated that. But unfortunately, they misspelled Steve's last name just a little bit. But everybody makes mistakes.
It's all good.
They got mine right.
And Bennett.
Could have been Bonnet or something like that. I wouldn't have minded. Okay.
Yeah.
But we appreciate the shout outs, guys. We really do.
Yeah. And Chris Bennett with the host, Shecky Lipschitz.
Oh no.
Yeah.
But that's don't get me wrong. We have nothing against the Polish people here. We love everybody. But Steve is not Polish. And he would be proud if he was, and I'd be proud of him if he was.
To come this far.
Walter.
I'm sorry. I've been watching way too much John Rickles lately.
Thank you,
That's
Walter.
That's why the Shecky Lipschitz name came off, man. And then Steve would be proud even if he was Polish. Yes, and to come this far. Anyway, all right, let's do our roll call.
Yeah. Let's get back to business here. Okay, sorry guys.
So first in tonight was Sharon, who said, "Have a great show, Steve and Chris." Karen Fisher in the chat. Infamous Fama. Welcome. We haven't seen you in chat before. Well, welcome.
New names. Yeah.
That's right. Kick your feet up, make yourself at home, grab your favorite beverage, grab a thing of popcorn or chicken wings or whatever. And we got Walter Kroll in next. Jen, the bouncer, is in the house, probably with her office assistant nearby.
Oh, yeah.
I left because the wife isn't home today. I left my office door open behind me. And the show started, and the office assistant got up and left.
Oh, no.
He's like, I'm out of here.
It's hard to find good help these days.
I tell you.
He's looking for a treat.
I'm going to cut his salary by about 6 biscuits. Next in is Grasshopper. Hello, Grasshopper. Angel Nolan. Hello.
Angel.
Tennessee Cherokee. Good to see you, sir. Roger Garrett again. Hello. Welcome. Again, kick your feet up. But remember, folks, if you're the last one out, turn the lights off. And the Susie Monster. Hello, Susie Monster. Robert Denduven. Good to see you, sir.
Welcome.
Matt, Central Florida, Bigfoot.
Yeah.
He's like, wait, hot and cold?
Yeah. Hope you got some electricity now, Matt, or at least a generator, bud. Hang in there.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the central part of the country. I live where I live. Oh, no. Mrs. Trackway, Deb, good to see you. Little Kilroy was colder than a witch. Well, you know what that is.
Okay. Little Kilroy, welcome.
Stephen Barcelo from the now my chat just from the Cryptozoology and Paranormal Museum.
Yeah, very cool.
That says yes, he does have power. I got it for my Squatch gear. Yeah. And that's it for now.
Let me ask Stephen Barcelo, is that the Cryptozoology and Paranormal Museum? Where's that at? What state, bud? City and state, if you don't care.
I believe that's in the Carolinas.
Is it North Carolina, South Carolina? Next time,
I think that's in North Kakalaki.
Huh. Next time I'm through the area, I will stop in and visit because I love a good museum. I love cryptozoology. That's cool stuff. I would love to open one here, but I know I'm retired, so I don't really want to run it.
Jen says my office assistant is napping. There it is.
Oh yeah.
300. Okay, there it is. The
North Carolina.
300 North Main Street, Littleton, North Carolina. 27850 is the zip code. Anybody in that area, make sure you stop by and say hello to Stephen and his lovely wife.
Sure.
So anyway, what do we, again, every once in a while, you get a day. A few weeks ago, we had that whole Ronnie LeBlanc announcement where we were running around trying to put things together.
Yeah.
And this actually started quite late yesterday. Was this particular post. A dead Bigfoot found supposedly in Maine.
Whoa.
And at first, we all thought that this poor gentleman was he kind of misspoke or mistyped something, and everybody thought he was there. Turns out he wasn't. He actually saw a video of it. But what the guy was doing was he was setting up. He'd been in contact with the two gentlemen that had made the claim,
right?
And that since he lives nearby, he's a New Hampshire guy. And of course, this post was in the New Hampshire Bigfoot Society on Facebook. He's a New Hampshire guy. So off he went, and his destination was going to be the Devil's Den Canyon near Byron, Maine, between Byron and Andover, Maine. So off he went and running to go check it out. So,
damn.
you know, and you know, you know, the guy Steve, this guy Steve, it's a pseudonym. His name isn't really Steve. I'm gonna withhold it. We called it out the other night in the chat because we thought this guy was playing games. He really wasn't. I've already publicly apologized. Listen, sorry, dude, for this, you know, suspicions, but you know, it happens. I mean, he blocked the administrator of the site from PMing him allegedly. That might have been done by mistake too. We don't know. But anyway, this morning, the action picks up, and and I end up talking with a gentleman from Wilkes-Barre, Vermont, by the name of Rex Thompson. A good guy, straight shooter. Said, "Listen, I know this guy, Mark." And there, I did it. He goes, I know this guy. He's an honest guy. I've known him for many years. He's done work for me. Yada yada yada. He's just he's excited. He got this report. He saw this, and he's off and running. And he's out. He's going out there to investigate their claim. Well, good for him. The guy just joined the Bigfoot group like a month and a half ago. He's kind of green a bit when it comes to the Bigfoot stuff and you know, reports, and off he's running to go do boots on the ground, a little bit of enthusiasm, a little cheer.
Yes,
and
sir.
We appreciate that. We appreciate that. By the way, Walter Kroll said pierogies or everyone, or I think what he means pierogies for everyone. Here we go. So fast forward, let's take a look. So and what really solidified that, hey, this kid was kid. He's probably in his 30s. Still a kid.
When you reach a certain age, everybody's a kid. So
well, my kid is gonna be what 32 this year. So yeah, 32 is a kid to me.
Try to be understanding. It's not an insult. It's not an insult.
If you're wondering what I do is every once in a while when I finish a drink, I have a garbage basket over there and I throw it. And not every time I make it, but you'll never know during a show. Sometimes it bounces off the rim, lands on the desk next to me, or it lands in the chair, or it lands on the floor. And then at the end of the show, I have to clean up. I have to pick up everything. But I made that one. So 2 points for Steve.
Well, what we need is a garbage can cam so we can view the toss.
Every time I miss, I get booed.
2 points.
Anyway, so I get in contact with Rex, good guy.
Yeah.
And you know, he's not showing any animosity, even though we were on opposite sides of the coin initially. And no, Robert, you gotta try Galumpkies. Love Galumpkies. Anyway, so I ended up talking to him, and he's explaining to me, listen, he's heading out there. We're close by. He's in Wilkes-Barre, Vermont. He is a contractor. He's got equipment. He's got trucks. He's got people. So they said, if they do find something, they'll respond out there to help pull it out. But this kid's going to find out. And we'll show a little bit more into that in a bit. But I want to take a look at the video of these two guys making this claim. Now, as you know, last week we did, matter of fact, last Sunday, we did an awesome show on the gentleman who had that incredible encounter in Oregon.
Very credible, yes. And
we looked at his body language. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to look at these two guys. And again, I'm sorry, I'm not going to play it straight through. If those are going to get upset about it, I apologize. But what we're doing here is analyzing body language. I'm sure you can find it eventually on the web somewhere, but we're going to look at some of their claims. They did a live broadcast yesterday morning, and it was over an hour long, and they spoke about this in several segments, and they spoke in about 3 separate segments of their program, not for very long, but I've got 3 of the 4 segments. The 4th one, I was pressed for time, couldn't find one little segment of it, and I'll fill in the gaps of what they said when we get to that particular point. Why do I look blue?
I don't think so. Not to me.
Better
No.
check. Oh, you know what, Jeff? Do you have your nightshade or your thing monitor settings that, or even phone settings that kind of reduce eye because they actually give
I
they
look kind of
actually
orange.
they actually give everything kind of a blue color.
When I open up a web page during the show, you see my color changes. Do you see that? Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah. I think it is.
It looks okay to me. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I can't see my own camera. Yeah, I'm looking fine. So anyway, unless there's a transmission problem, but anyway, let's take a look at the video. And again, I apologize if we stop it, but we're going to stop it at some crucial points where there is some indicative body language that I want to show people. So here we go with that's, of course, just as a disclaimer, this is all covered by the fair use doctrine, and that we're showing this video under the fair use doctrine. So please don't try to copyright infringe us, because what we're doing is commentary for educational purposes here and news reporting and criticism and et cetera, and maybe even parody.
We are critiquing and educational.
So here we go.
Detector out and checked it out, and I can't tell you. Should we tell them what we found? Yeah, we'll tell you.
No, we're going to tell you what we found.
Let me tell them. Oh.
Now, mind you, at this point, and I'm sorry I should have done this in the beginning, we are already 12 minutes and 43 seconds into their video. So they didn't start off their podcast or their live stream about this Bigfoot body. They don't mention it in the title of their video. They don't mention in the description of their video. Maybe that'll be better for them. I don't know. Yeah, guys, whatever's going on, it's StreamYard. There is nothing different I am doing today than I have done every other show. So the only thing I can do is this real quick. There we go. So anyway, they don't talk about this until about the 12-minute and 43-second mark of the show, of their live stream. So here we go.
Okay. I could see something because my eyes are horrible, but I had the camera and I was zoomed in.
Now, what do you see there, Chris? We had talked about this in the pre-show a little bit, but what I'm seeing is, and I'm not specifically paying attention to the guy on the left.
Right
now, I'm reading the body language of the guy on the right. If you notice, his lips are...
Yes, he's pursed his lips. Yes, they're tight. They're tight.
Right. Gotcha. So that in of itself is very interesting, because usually that's a sign that he doesn't want to blurt out something, or he doesn't want to say something.
And I could see something way down in the canyon. It's really dark. It's deep. It's a canyon, but it's underground. You got to look down into it. And it looked like a Sasquatch. It looked like a squatch in the canyon, but not.
But now, micro expression time. But
moving. He wasn't moving, and it was an older squatch. I'm guessing an old male because it had a big long beard.
So now it had a big long beard. So now you've seen the face, apparently.
Stuff on it.
Now, just again, now the guy on the right,
biting his lip. Yeah,
he's biting his lip.
Yeah.
This is biting. Yeah, biting his lip. Now the other guy, it's hard to see, but it looks like he's smirking a little. And the reason why I say that is you see the crow's nests in the corners of his eyes. And that's usually indicative when you just smile. the skin around your the sides of your temples, shrinks up. And as I'm watching this, again, these are some of the things I look for when I interview thieves. Again, trained forensic interviewer.
Right.
And, I notice these body reactions all the time. If they're lying, if they're telling the truth, when you're asking a witness a particular thing, well, can you tell me about the losses you had in this burglary? And they start doing stuff like that.
Right.
Usually some big red flags going on.
And it kind of smelled like it's been there a while.
Yeah.
But it was a ways away.
It was dead.
I didn't want to come right out and say that.
Dead.
It's the first live Squatch we've ever seen.
And that's a very interesting comment. It's the first live Squatch we've ever seen.
Dead.
Ever. But
now, I find this very interesting. They break into laughter. Now, does that seem like, okay, they act like, oh, seeing a Squatch is no big deal. That's the first dead one we've ever seen. They're acting like it's any other animal in the woods.
Right.
And it's the discovery of a lifetime, but we'll get more into that.
Right.
I think it was.
He says it's dead, and he goes, I think it was. Well, how do you think if something's dead? Apparently, you walked up to it. Eventually, they'll claim they've collected hair, but that's the piece of the video I'm missing.
We walked down and got up close to it.
We got closer. You're going to have to wait for the video.
Okay, I'm going to rewind that just a quick second. Just a little bit. Back about.
We walked down and got up close to it.
Now, did you notice the stutter? And as he's doing that, he's looking over at his friend to see if what he is saying is consistent with what they want to say. And right now,
on the same page. Yeah.
The guy on the right is smirking. The guy on the left is kind of smirking. He's hiding it very well. But, again, you have to read each person a little bit differently, how they smile, how they, he may have bad teeth, so he's not doing a traditional type of, glowing smile that people do.
We walked down and got up close to it.
We got closer. You're going to have to wait for the video to see the whole thing.
And of course, there we are. Here it is. Oh, you're going to have to wait for the video.
Yeah.
Of what we saw there.
But what it did, that was the highlight of my whole trip.
Now, what it did, seeing that was the highlight of my whole trip. And as he's saying that, let's go rewind that just a little bit.
That was the highlight of my whole trip.
And as he's doing that, there's a very small micro expression going on that he's trying to hide. And that's him going, he's shaking his head, no.
That's the highlight of my year.
And again, think about it. You've just found a Sasquatch body, and that's the highlight of your trip. And then he realizes, I think, made the mistake.
Yes.
And now he corrects himself. Well, the highlight of my year. And that wasn't even legitimate. Because if you found a Sasquatch, that would probably be tremendous. And that would be the highlight of, a lifetime.
That would be the most significant find in the last, 200 years.
Here he is, Cryptid said it can take days to get video developed these days. And just so you know, Jen in the chat has the Helene Hurricane Relief Fund. So for those interested, just scroll down to the chat where you find that link for the Helene, North Carolina Relief Fund.
North Carolina got hit extremely hard.
Yeah. So let's continue on with the video a bit.
Material at the bottom in the pit, but that all got flushed out. There's nothing but water in there now. And I bet you there's gold down the bottom if you want to go down in there with a dead Squatch.
And then see a little bit of a smirk, and then there's the pass off again by him licking in, kind of like.
Yep.
It stinks. I would say stay away.
It stinks. I would say stay away because it smells.
Yeah, probably.
We filmed it, so you're going to see
Yeah,
it.
you're going to see the whole thing. It's all on film.
Yeah, no need to go there.
Now there is a nose crinkle right there, another micro expression, almost like a sneer. Like he doesn't like this idea necessarily about talking about this too much more now.
Right.
But watch. There it is, right there.
Half of the people in Andover now are driving down there to see.
Yeah, they want to go see
Take
what's in.
pictures.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're in the Andover area and you want to see a dead squatch in the bottom of the Devil's Den, go down there before they remove it.
But
Before they remove it, and right. So now the other guy is going to add on to this story. It is
Yeah.
This is a very tacky. This is why, as an interrogator and an interviewer, you separate the witnesses. Right.
we had to let the warden service know. So
Now now look what he's doing again.
I don't know if it's going to be down there for long. But we took pictures. Yeah. And yesterday we did a lot of sightseeing, looking at foliage. We found a Sasquatch.
Found the squatch.
We're not talking about that right now. You got to wait for the video.
Could have been dead. In the bottom of Devil's Den. If you live in the area, you can go see it still there.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, do you see all this in
I'm with
the
you. Yeah.
guy on the left has no clue what to say right now, and he's trying to feed off the other. They're feeding off one another, and that is, you can tell they keep looking at each other like. I mean, if you look at the guy on the left, Bill, I'm right with you there. Every time they say Devil's Den, I'm thinking Gettysburg. Yes, absolutely. But you see, I mean, if you look at the guy on the left, he's like waiting for the pass off, or he's waiting to get a lead in.
we had to call the warden. We wanted
fishing.
Now, another body language thing going on. He's kind of covering his mouth a bit as he's scratching. Oh, we had to call the warden, right? Again, nervousness, not a truthful statement. Just based on that kind of, I'm going to start masking my mouth a little bit. Oh, we had to call the warden.
Yep.
And he's thinking, and this is also indicative he's trying to come up with things to say.
They may remove the squatch.
Let them know.
And again, another.
You'll know where it is because it's.
And again, there he is. You'll know where it is. Again, micro expression with the head shake now. And now a chuckle. Finally a chuckle. And that's because, why are they chuckling? Because they're, it's a joke. Yeah. And, no matter how they try to hide it, they're internally laughing that they're having trying to get people revved up or riled up or gassed up for this story.
That's a clue.
So that's there was a point where, like I said, at the 17 or 18 minute, or between the 17:26 mark and the 18:02 mark, like at 17 or 18:02, they finally say we let the game warden know. At 18:41, they talked about collecting hair and doing the full Monty on that.
Yeah.
And again, I mean, just the body language. Again, there he is saying about, the game warden, and you can see this, almost the masking of the mouth right there. First, and you can see some of the reactions right there. I mean, you can right there. There's another one.
Yeah.
Where they're trying to feed off, and they don't know what each other is going to say, and that's the problem. This isn't rehearsed. This is something that came off the cuff, and perhaps they turned around and said, we should ought to say that moose we found there is a squatch, and the reason why I say moose is that because of this. So when we get to the next day, I start talking with Rex Thompson, who, like I said, the straight shooter guy who knows this other guy. I said, we're all skeptical till we can actually get the proof. We are close enough to investigate. They just landed and are actively searching. They brought dogs. So
at this point, let me ask you, Steve, at this point, if you're the forensic interviewer and you're doing this interview and you're watching their reactions, where are you now? Are you on the same page with them, or do you actually think they saw something, or are you going?
Allow me to give my most professional answer.
Go ahead.
How I would do it, how I would distinctly break it down to superiors and to the general public. And, if I was to prepare a professional report, let me get this out. So I actually did write down my professional opinion. I, Stephen W. Kulls, being a trained forensic interviewer and examiner, have reviewed the following video of the two gentlemen claiming to have found a dead Bigfoot or a Bigfoot body in Devil's Den, located near or by Byron and Andover, Maine. Have come to the following conclusion regarding their interview or their statements. They are full of shit. Yeah.
Well, that's pretty much it. Yeah. And using the micro expressions and the body language and stuff is just a tool. It's just a tool, and you have to know how to use it correctly, because you can't judge by one micro expression unless it's leading to another one, and depending on what's being said. And they don't look very honest to me. They look like a couple of good old boys that found something and they made up a story to make it sound. Yeah. Exactly, Jim. We also know this now, correct?
Well, I don't see what the problem with their story is.
We found a Sasquatch. It was
Shut up, Earl! Shut up!
It was dead. No, well, I don't know. We don't know that it was dead. But yeah,
it was kind of dead.
No, but we saw its face, though. We think it was a Sasquatch.
We saw its wife too. It was kind of pregnant.
Mm.
All right. So anyway, about an hour after talking, okay, so they've landed now like this, and thankfully, thank you, Rex, for giving us the play-by-play here, and thank you,
Rex.
Steve, aka Matt, aka Steve, for getting boots on the ground. I always say this: the quickest way to debunk any BS is getting boots on the ground, and in this case, we were lucky to have this guy to say, "Hey, you know what? I'll do it. Let me go check it out." Similar to what happened back last March, again, sprouting from the New Hampshire area, but this is actually in Maine, which it's too bad we're missing Don Gumow. Right now, Don is out there going, I know the Sasquatch is here somewhere. I know it's here.
Yeah.
Just kidding, Don. We love you.
There's one out there. Don will find it. He will.
You notice that me watching Rickles has gotten me a little loosened up and a little more lively now. Sometimes I need a little comedic inspiration sometimes to have a little fun. So again, nothing stops hoaxing quicker than boots on the ground. It brings things to a point in relatively quick order, or by demanding things, brings things into quick order, which is why when I started getting a little pushback this morning from Rex about Matt's honesty, I was like, okay, this needs to be listened to. Because one thing an investigator needs to do is remain open-minded. I had said, I think this guy, Steve, may be pulling one on us, whatever. And as the things progressed and I saw the reactions of his friend Rex sticking up for him, saying, listen, I know this guy. you have to take pause in yourself and try not to be tunnel visioned.
Sure.
Right? Tunnel vision is the worst thing you can do. So, okay, let me hear this guy out. He seems like a straight shooter. I don't know why my office assistant is under his chair right now. Hey, knucklehead. Come on, knock it off. Get in your chair. In your chair. In your chair. Now he's looking at me like, hey, give me something. You don't get anything yet, not for another 20 minutes or so.
Oh, we're ready for a treat now.
Well, he sure is. I'm sorry. He was going to get into his chair and he stopped and he looked at me like.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Where's the biscuit?
yeah. It is so imperative to put pressure on these hoaxers. And again, the open-mindedness of the investigator to say, hey, listen, maybe I was wrong. Let me hear this guy out. Let me hear the other side of the story. And then I start looking in context saying, okay, maybe this guy, Matt, wasn't the best person in the world to put out a press release. We just had that flub a couple of months ago with Ronnie LeBlanc and this whole video thing, right? It wasn't necessarily accurate or something was misinterpreted in the translation of it.
Yeah. There was a little excitement there that was conveyed. Maybe not have been warranted. Yeah.
Right. So after talking with us, I realized, okay, this guy claims he's going to be out there. Let's see how this plays out. And I'm pretty sure sounds like this guy Rex seemed like a straight shooter. So I felt good about that.
Yes.
And if he's vouching for this guy, all right, I'm going to give this guy the benefit of the doubt that this guy's a straight shooter. And sure enough, about an hour after they got into the area, and the area is not hard to get to, obviously. There's the road right there. It's not hard to get to. We get, I get this text. Nope, it was a moose carcass that had fallen down into this den and died, not Bigfoot. And then I had another thing. Oh, well, sounds like those two guys have a little bit of explaining to do. And basically he said, no, the moose was way down kind of in a ravine, but as you got close, you could definitely tell it was a moose. So, you know, this poor kid who went down there after talking to these two guys, and mind you, he had talked to these two guys and they continued their bullshit. And made this guy put his hard-earned money into his gas tank to drive there to find this moose instead of a Bigfoot. To me, that's why these guys are being outed.
Yeah, well, they left themselves a back door too. They said, one guy's saying, well, if you want to see a dead Bigfoot, go down into the area where it's at, down in Devil's Den or wherever, and you'll see it. And then the other guy pops back and says, yeah, but we had to call the wardens. So, that leaves it may not be there now,
But you know what? And I didn't even bother checking that, do game wardens, but you could look at their body language when talking about the game warden. Right? Speak of the devil area.
There's Don.
There's Don. Oh, Don, I tell you what, we just had a little joke at your expense. We love you, brother.
But I firmly believe if there was a Bigfoot there, Don would have found it. Absolutely.
But you see, that would irritate me a little bit, but I also look at it from the fact is that if anything, like back last March when I went out to wherever that starts with an H, and anyway, Henners, New Hampshire, where we looked at that guy that was claiming he was getting all the videos and whatnot.
Right.
It's not a waste of time. And if you're an investigator and a true lover of this mystery, it's not a waste of time to go out and travel to investigate claims.
Yes.
Poor Don's like, I'll have to rewind a bit. No, I just said the story surrounds Maine, Don. And I said, yes, right now it's somewhere somewhere Don come out. I go, Don isn't here tonight. Somewhere Don's out there in Maine going, I know the Sasquatch is out here. I know this body is out here. Not to repeat that joke, but I did it for the benefit of Don. So give me a break.
Oh, yeah. Good point, Mick. Yeah, and especially with the beard, where'd the beard come from?
Right. Well, yeah, the beard. Oh, we collected. He also made a comment. The little guy on the right, left made a comment too. Oh, we collected hair samples. We did the whole nine. And I think the reaction from the guy on the right was, he's saying too much, and that's why he kept pursing his lips, biting his
right,
biting
his lip,
biting his lip. There's a couple of times when he's saying stuff as well. We caught it in the pre-show. I didn't really catch it this time around because a lot of moving parts and and the office assistant who left the office again.
Well, it's hard to get it all through one watching because you can't watch both guys at the same time. So you have to watch one guy, then replay it, then watch the other guy while you're listening.
Right. So really, when you look at a video like this, you have to separate them by piecemeal, and because you can use your ears to listen to what's being said, and you use your eyes to watch the body language. And normally, in a perfect scenario, that's what I would do. I would break this up, but I had enough times to just sit there and I'm going to watch this guy during the whole playback, and I'm going to watch this guy during the whole playback. And their behaviors were completely different from their baseline stuff where they were talking about real things and stuff that was true. So again, there was no way they could have even thought that this was a Sasquatch at all. A squat. So
you think it might have been just a ploy to get people to watch their video, maybe?
No. Nope. Reason being is they didn't advertise this at all. I think this is just their mind you, they have a business and they are hippies. They're self-admitted hippies. And I'm not going to go too much into their personal background. It's out of bounds, basically, for this type of environment, because we have enough with their body language on the video. But when you talk about motive, the motive was just to gaslight some folks. That's all. Have a little laugh. And perhaps this is the way that, I haven't watched enough of their other videos to know how they do humor. But when I'm looking at it, it seems like they're ribbers. They like to rib and make jokes and stuff like that. That's a professional wrestling term. A practical joke is called a rib, and the reason why they call it a rib is, when you elbow the guy in the ribs, that's, they call it a rib. Roger that, Bill. But I gotta say, this and closing thoughts. And if anybody has a question about this, please shout it out now. Now's your time to get it off, because I'm going to move to another topic, a funny topic, real fast as we close out the show in the final 15 minutes. But as I close out this, again, nothing beats boots on the ground. Hats off to you, Steve Kubert, which is a cute kind of Facebook name. Kubert, got it. Mark, great job. Rex, great job. And thank you both for being stand-up guys. I also want to thank Kelly from the New Hampshire Sasquatch Society. Thank you for being a stand-up guy. Thank you for saying, no, use whatever you want to use. It's all good to me. He's about the truth as much as I am. And he too investigated that whole mess back in March with the other guy as well. He was there the day before us with Mike Tinsley, who's been a guest on our show. So we will get Kelly on the show at some point as a guest. But hats off to you for being a stand-up guy. 3 stand-up people there today to bring this whole kerfuffle to a close in less than 48 hours, which is what we want to do. We want to, if we get these cases, we want to make sure they're closed out as quick as possible, or determined to be true or not as quick as possible. Do I think the game warden was called? No. No, I think that was an after effect, just in case some animal comes by, like a mountain lion, which they do have in Maine, and wolves, which they do have in Maine, decides to feast upon the carcass of said moose, and there's nothing left. So,
Well, yeah, I don't know if they really did or not. I got the impression that it was kind of a they left themselves a back door. That way, when you go there and
oh
you
yeah,
don't find a body, they could say, "Well, we called the game warden, so they must have come and gotten it. So
right.
they must have retrieved the body." That's what I felt.
Amen, Danny Weeks, the prime directive of truthfulness.
There you go, Danny.
You know, Curious Crypto says, what did they call the game warden? Anything but late for dinner. That's an old joke.
Well, if they embrace the hippie philosophy, I guess that's what we're going to call it, environmentalism or whatever they call it nowadays. But if they embrace that, more than likely they do not have a lot of respect for authority. So I wouldn't look for them to be.
I don't know. They're very big outdoors people, so maybe they
Right.
do because authority takes care of the woods. So,
Possibly.
like rain. So who knows?
Mhm.
I'm not even going to speculate into all their motivation,
No.
other
No,
than
no.
the fact
Right.
that I think that this was just a rib towards their audience. Maybe it's how they generally do humor. They just do like deadpan.
Right.
Oh yeah, we saw this. Yeah, yeah, there was a dead squatch right there. Absolutely.
Going back to look for the crashed UFO. It was an alien UFO crash. Didn't survive the crash.
Now Kaiju Ninja 1985 asked a question. Is there a story you believe involved the body of a dead Bigfoot? I'm sure there is a true story of a dead Bigfoot body out there. That may have been lost. The Louisiana car strike where this woman in the 80s claimed to have hit a Sasquatch, and they found her car, smashed in pretty good on the side. I mean, for insurance purposes, she could have just said it was a deer, but she told the authorities there that it was a Sasquatch. And they looked around, they couldn't find anything, and they moved on. So, is that necessarily a body? No. But the problem with it is if somebody finds a Bigfoot body, that's one thing. If somebody kills a Bigfoot, they may feel like they may be in trouble with the law.
Right.
And that's why you won't necessarily hear about it. Do I think it's happened? It probably has once in the last, 300 years. Absolutely. Do I think it was documented? No. Oh, yeah, this thing scared the crap out of me, but it looks so human. I'm just going to bury it and not talk about it again. I think that's more a likely scenario. But then we have these cases, which always seem to be muddled in chicanery or tomfoolery, or for the better, or my professional word, fuckery. You have these things that where you have this occur, and that's a good old New York term. Yeah, a lot of fuckery going on here, and that's just where. And frankly, Mick, nope, because the DNA proved that was a bear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dr. Brian Sykes, I think, found that one.
So anyway, yeah. So, what more can I say except good job, guys? Good job, Team New Hampshire. Good job. Getting to
Excellent.
the bottom of that, and
Excellent
thank you,
work.
and thank you. So, and finally, there was a mention of Chris Noel's new book in the Coalition Facebook page. Apparently, he's coming out with the Sasquatch, the paranormal primate, where he talks about mind speak and whatever other special effects and abilities a mystical paranormal Sasquatch can have. And my comment in the chat was, I think that porcupine fell out of the tree and hit him in the head.
Yeah. Well, what can you say?
The same guy who asked me to lie Yeah. What kind of ethics do you have, sir, if you want me to lie? And journalistically, that goes again. There's several sets of rules, and I know journalism has gotten a really bad rap the last,
Oh, yeah.
number of years. But I grew up in a time when journalism was very ethical and called things down the middle.
Right.
There was a point in time I didn't know if I wanted to get into the law enforcement investigation side of things or I wanted to become an investigative journalist.
Mm.
So I always held myself with those standards of an ethical journalist. I'm not going to get involved in politics. I'm going to call it down the line, and that's the way you report it. That's the way you see it. That's the way. That's paranormal platypus and paranormal porcupine.
Well, the alliteration is really ringing true tonight in the chat.
Yeah. So, and then we have the flush of beauty. I call it that. It used to be called the flash of beauty. Then they started talking about the paranormal Bigfoot, a flash of beauty. I call it the flush of beauty with all these people. Well, the Bigfoot turned into an orb. Pass whatever you're smoking. Pass whatever you're smoking.
Bigfoot turned into an orb.
That's right. So, yeah.
Well, Steve, the Curious Cryptid, made a comment earlier, something about when the Bigfoot steps out of a portal, it takes a lot out of them. Sometimes they seem like they're dead or something. Oh yeah, there it is. So sometimes coming out of a portal can be rough. It knocks them out for a while. They just look dead a bit.
Of course. Why not? And of course they have to take a trip to the portal potty after they go, they got to just.
Well, maybe that's what happened to this moose. Maybe he actually.
Well, that's why there's no poop anywhere. Poop everywhere. Poop. No, there's no poop because they go to the portal potty. They flush and it goes off to the other dimension. There it goes.
No, I think we established the other night during the Beckford show that they, so they turn invisible when they walk into cities, so they won't cause traffic accidents. I think they also poop while they're invisible. That leaves the poop is invisible. You can't see it. That's what
makes perfect scientific sense to me.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. Hey, in the sense of Beckford and the spirit of Beckford, you can't prove that's not the way it happens. You can't prove it, so that's it.
No, maybe when a Bigfoot dies, it turns into a moose.
Yes. That's
why
right.
haven't the paranormal folks thought of that one?
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're different. They come from a different universe, and so
they can shape shifts and turn into orbs. Why can't they turn into a dead moose?
Sure, they could. Sure. Okay, yeah, we're getting off.
All right, we're getting a little nuts here. Paranormal moose.
But what are you gonna do? You just embrace the madness. It's crazy, but I think
I play with madness.
But these guys got boots on the ground and they squashed this really quick, and we appreciate it. It was great work, guys. Thank you. After watching the interview, though, I think most people, especially our listeners and our chat room participants over there, our guys and gals, they pretty much could tell what these guys were doing by just watching the interview. I'm pretty sure.
And a lot of people will ask, why are we making light of this? And the thing is, we've seen this countless times over the years. This person has a body. That person has a body.
Right.
It all started with the first Bigfoot body hoax, which was by the name of a man named Frank Kurlow. And he had Roger Patterson, John Green, Renee DeHinden all tied up to the point where the three started competing against one against each other to get to this Bigfoot body, which never existed in the first place. And he claimed that Kurlow, I think, claimed that have it in a cave somewhere. And of course, that started them on a mad search looking for the cave, trying to get as much information as Kurlow came out. And eventually the whole thing just washed out. And so that's the history of, like Bigfoot bodies. That was the very first one reported that turned out to be a hoaxy doxy.
Yeah.
So
It wasn't even as good as the Minnesota Iceman. That was a good one. At least there was something there you could look at it and smelled kind of
and it caused a lot of controversy for many years.
Sure did. Yeah, there are people arguing about it. Oh yeah, this is real.
To this day. So, well, anyway, Chris, this has been a quick hour as always.
Yeah. Well, it was good. It was good. I enjoyed watching their interview and using some of the tools to determine what was going on there.
Yep, and I'm not going to sit there and drag those guys through the mud necessarily.
No.
Or bring them up or even put any attention to them. I don't want to do that.
No.
The bottom line is it's all fettered out to be nothing. I think I missed maybe about a minute and a half of their soliloquy about mentioning this Bigfoot, because they mention it in like at those point the clips I missed, the two little clips I missed were probably 30 seconds or less. Yeah. So it wasn't really that important. The big ones, like I said, we got this like 3.5-minute video of them talking, at 4-minute video of them talking about it. And we kind of get a feel right off the bat that they're full of,
well, I think
through their body language, through their neurolinguistics, through what they were saying.
Yeah, I kind of classify this as just a joke. I don't classify this as a hoax where they were looking to make money out of it.
Well, a hoax is a hoax is a hoax. Doesn't matter if it's a joke or not. The fact is they did tell a guy over the phone that, oh, yeah, it's down here.
Now, that was wrong. Yeah, that was wrong. They should have said, "Oh no, man, we were just going on."
So it really, and they started as a joke, but it became a hoax when the researcher called them and asked on them, and they didn't come clean. And that, unfortunately, is I don't mind people stretching the truth sometimes or even lying, but don't be a liar.
You make a joke, it's one thing.
Don't be a liar.
Right.
I've always said in my interviews, the only judge of a person I have is not whether or not they did something wrong. Everybody is entitled to their screw ups. Good people make bad decisions sometimes. And I'm not saying these guys are bad people, but they made a bad decision, and they made it worse by not showing character and by lying to the guy that called them on it.
Yeah, that's a little integrity.
And again, my only judge of the character is whether you're being truthful or not. You said this, big deal. Tell me now, is this a hoax? And if they say, no, it's really there, then you have just shown, and it's not, then you have just shown what poor characters you can be. I think the rebuttal to this whole thing will be like, oh, well, they didn't go to the right area. Yeah, well, what we do know is that the person that went out there was in communication with the people responsible for making the claim. So they went out to the right spot. Let's not beat around the bush. And the other thing is, I checked their channel just before we went on air tonight. There is no video that they claim they were going to show today about a dead Bigfoot or anything like that. So anyway, Chris, take us out of here. It's a little after 10.
Also, the guy on the left, that's what got me. He left a back door. He left a way they can escape.
Yep.
Thinking, well, you found the dead moose, but the dead Bigfoot was, a quarter of a mile up, and we told the wardens about it. So, he left a back door open.
Right.
But anyway, thanks everybody for joining us tonight. We appreciate each and every one of you. Appreciate the new names. Welcome.
Yes,
I'm sorry, I'm reading the chat. You guys got so much good stuff to say. But we appreciate each and every one of you. We're honored that you would choose to hang out with us on Wednesday nights and Fridays and Sundays.
Yes, but sir.
First time watching, smash that subscribe button if you hadn't already. If you hadn't bumped the like button, bump the like button on your way out if you hadn't hit it yet. It helps the channel. And we appreciate each and every one of you. Again, thank you.
Absolutely. And again, guys, we have the greatest audience in the world. We love you all. We love you all. We have a great time with you in here. We get in here and we cause all kinds of havoc amongst the Bigfoot community. And I appreciate your guys for the intelligent conversation, for the great insight, and for the sense of humor. And for those that are new here, yes, we do infuse humor and things. Sometimes I'm more humorous. Other days, I'm just a downright gloomy SOB. But anyway, but nonetheless, we're glad to have you here. We love you guys. And hey, we'll see you Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, right here on Squatch-D TV. Catch you all in a couple of days. Be safe out there.
We thank you for being here with us on Squatch-D TV. If you haven't taken the time yet, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And oh yes, hit that notification bell too. We don't want you to miss anything. If you really like our content, you should consider becoming a member, and it's really inexpensive and a great way to support not only the show, but honest Bigfoot research. Everyone have a great week. Be safe and God bless. We will see you all here next time on Squatch-D TV. Keep on squatching.